to pull it out of you. And it is an expensive service to pull it out of you. So that's why I wrote the first book, Job One. Because no one can help you if you don't know what you want to do. The answers I want to hear is, here's 3 career paths, Phil, that I'm really interested in. I like sales. I like meeting people. I like discussing issues with them, convincing them, and helping them. So sales really interests me. I like HR. I like meeting people. I like working with them. I like helping their career. So that's a second path I'm really interested in. And the third one might be news, anchor, reporter. I like interviewing people. I like hearing about problems and filtering it back and making presentations about it. So now we have 3 career paths to talk about. Laura knows I can talk about HR areas. Sales is my favorite part of my business, right? Luckily, my business partner loves the behind the scenes and the administrative part and the actually getting orders filled and the recruiting. I like bringing in new contracts, new clients. Partly because I'm competitive and I like taking a client from an underperforming competitor. So not only have I given them a hurt, but I've got a gain in it too, because I grew my business. So that excites me. That's what lets me wake up in the morning excited to go to work every day. And I've been doing this for 42 years and I still feel that way. So that's the foundation for today. And you'll see how networking fits into all of this. You're going to have to network to get in front of me. You're going to have to know what you want to do when you do get in front of me. And we're probably ready to start the segment in the introduction from Stephanie, and we'll start talking about networking really soon. Do you want to block me, Matt? There.
Oh, okay. I'm speaking. Can you all hear me now again? Yes? Okay. Sorry. Our whole building just went down, so I went dark. But tried to pass over the hosting to Phil, which I think he was able to do a little bit of introduction in my absence. So thank you for that, Phil. And now we're trying to get his audio and video back up. So as I was mentioning before I cut out, at least I think I was, I'm not sure if you heard it or not, this being the third of a 3-part series where Phil is going to talk about the straight to the point networking skills. You all hear about it all the time, network. But you know, what exactly does that mean? And what does that really look like? I mean, true practical, hands-on, you know, where do I go to network? With whom do I go to network? In what capacity do I go to network? And what exactly is that getting for me, you know? And I think Phil is going to do a great job of clarifying that straight to the point, what the expectations should be for yourself in terms of the kind of networking you're doing and with whom, and what you should be looking for that networking to do to complement that career transition, as well as securing that job that you're looking for as you're leaving active duty military service and joining our civilian community. So Phil, are you able to hear me now?
I'm good to go whenever you want to do the handoff.
All right, so with that brief introduction, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Phil to be able to share with all of us those golden nuggets that is straight to the point networking. So Phil, take it away.
Super. Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome, everybody. It's great to have you with us. In the introduction, I talked about the value of knowing what you want to do and having career paths that excite you and interest you. And the value of the interview of being able to sell yourself to a complete stranger and be able to talk about your skill sets and why you're the right person for the job. So this is the third piece on networking. And I'm going to start with two very, very eye-opening statistics. And as we go through this next half hour before we get to the Q&A, and please jot down questions because I know everybody has their own world they're living in and concerns and what they feel are roadblocks, and we need to go around those. The two things, the first one is, in this market today, 80% of jobs are found and people are hired because of some level of networking. Now, it could be face-to-face, could be my neighbor hired me, it could be my uncle worked with me, or it could be someone who knows somebody who knows somebody who, and keep going, it doesn't matter. Keep that chain alive, and we're going to talk about how you're going to find people that can help you. And by far understand people do want to help you. Now we're talking to veterans today. You have a trump card, and that is being a veteran. Don't overplay it, but do use it. Okay? So 80% of jobs are found with some level of networking. And the other one is, if you can get someone to walk your resume down the hall to the building owner, the manager, the department manager, the HR person, you have 7 times the chance of getting that job. Now, why is that? It's because someone knows somebody that knows somebody. We talked about the importance of informational interviews earlier and how important it is to talk to people because you want to hear about the industry they're in, you want to hear about the company they work at, and you want to know about their career. They seem to be excited about going to work. They seem to be energized all the time. What do you do and what do you look for in a job? Why do you feel that way? Why are you so happy doing what you're doing? Because I want to learn from that. Those are the 3 kinds of informational interviews. But what an interview is ideally is you're meeting somebody within a company, doesn't matter what department they're in, you've networked and you've met somebody within a company, face-to-face or Zoom these days, either one is fine. But they've been so impressed with you, with your energy and your positive attitude and your can-do and your experience and how you applied your military experience into the private sector, which is very important. And read the book, Job 1 for America's Veterans. You'll have seen we spend a lot of time on that. That they get up and go, you know what, Joe? Walk down the hall with me. I want to introduce you to the head of accounting. He will be excited to meet you because you're who we're looking for. 700% increase in your chance of getting that job. And the reason is because whoever you met with, and ideally they're well respected in the company, they're putting their career on the line because they're walking down to HR going, I want you to meet Joe. I think he's perfect for the accounting department job we have. So now HR or the department manager, the owner is going, hey, Phil works here. If he's vouching for this guy, Phil knows our corporate culture. He knows the manager of this department. He knows what our product is. He knows our mission statement. He knows all that. And he thinks Joe's right for our job. I would be a fool not to interview him. That'll get you to the interview. It won't get you the job. But getting to that interview is segment 2, right? On how to perform properly in the interview. A third number, 50% of jobs are never advertised. So you may want to work at ABC Company and go, oh, look, they don't have any openings that I'm qualified for. If you want to work at that company, don't stop there. That just empowers you to find somebody who knows somebody that works at that company to get that informational interview. Because what you want to do is what we talked about before. They go, you know, we always said if we could find somebody that's had experience in this field and has done this for 10 years and has been to Iraq and has been to Afghanistan and is a veteran, we would hire them for this idea we've parked on the side because we couldn't find anybody to do it. So I never posted the job because I don't want all these resumes, hundreds of resumes. If I post an opening, on average, 400 resumes come pouring in. I'm a medium or small size company. I can't go through 400 resumes. I got to sit back and wait for somebody to refer someone to me whose opinion I trust, and I'll jump on that opportunity to meet them and start that division or fill that position, or know that Mary is retiring and I need to find a replacement, but I haven't had time and I haven't been willing to post it yet. So 3 things: 80% jobs are found through networking, 7 times the chance that they walk you down the hall, and 50% jobs are never posted. So that's why we're going to pay a lot of attention today, because I want, and all of us here putting this on for you, want you to understand how to network. I'm going to start with 2 sort of philosophies next. And I'm back to 35,000 feet, and those of you who are making the transition. And what we've learned from Stephanie and I have learned is a lot of you are 6 months out or a year out. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Congratulations, 0800, for teeing people up about being concerned for this. I talk to a lot of people who are out. They've finished eating up their terminal leave, painting the house or walking the dog or honeydews or whatever, and now they're worried about making a mortgage payment, and I got to find a job. Don't tell me about an ideal job. Don't tell me about career path. I need a job. My heart breaks for those people. Now, we have lots of jobs to give them. It's not what they're excited about. They'll be good at it, and then they start their process in the temporary health industry. But when you have time to think about this, which I hope most of you have, I am convinced that 10% of what happens to us is the reality, and 90% is how you choose to react to it. Something negative. I didn't get the job I thought I was going to get. I thought, you can fall apart. You can get depressed. I give up. I'm not going to interview. I'm not going to do. And crawl into a hole. I call it fall on your sword. Right? That's approach 1. Not so crazy about that approach. The other one is, oh, really? I didn't get that one? First of all, I'm going to follow up 2 weeks after the start date, and I'm going to say, hey, how's the guy you hired doing? Because I know I came in second or third. You'd be surprised how many times they go, you know what? I think we hired the wrong person. He's not picking up. He's not da-da-da. And all at once, they say, come back in and let's chat. So don't give up on that. The other one fell apart, crawled into a hole, and gave up. So do that. Right? You got nothing to lose. They go, oh, it was fabulous. He's doing it. Well, good. I'm really, really happy for you. Keep me in mind for something else. Or I see you posted this job. You know, we have a relationship now. We're chatting among ourselves. But 90% is how you react to that. So you can go crawl in a hole and give up, or you can get energized and go, okay, strike 1. I got 2 more to go, and I'm going to hit that home run. So how you choose to react to things that happen in your life is up to you. Take control of that and make it happen. Energize yourself if something doesn't go the way you wanted it to. The other thing is who you surround yourself with. I am adamant about surrounding myself with upbeat, happy, energized, positive attitude people. Because you know what? It's contagious. They're excited about whatever it is, their day. I get excited about my day, or what I want to, they've motivated me to get excited about doing something that day, right? That's who I want to be around. My wife kids me all the time that I don't have a half full cup. My cup runneth over. I'm such an optimist that I'm almost a fool. But you know, it's a great way to live life. Wouldn't you rather focus on the possibilities, on what can happen, how well this could work out, how nice these people are going to be, instead of rolling your eyes going, oh, I'm meeting more boring people. Oh, this isn't going to work. Nobody's going to hire me. The number of people that get in front of me that I can tell within 2 or 3 minutes that in their psyche, they're going, all I hear is no, 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 I'm not hiring you. You're too old, you're too young, you're too tall, I'm not hiring you. So let's get this interview over with because you're going to tell me no also and just get it over with. That is such a shame. What I want to have happen when I interview somebody is go, I wish I had an opening for you. I will make an opening for you. You are so impressive and you brought energy into my life. That's who I want to surround myself with. If you find yourself around Debbie Downers, drop them. Literally walk away. If you will leave somebody, the true sense of a friend is somebody that after spending time with them, they make you feel better about yourself having spent some time with them. That's who I want you to surround yourself with. Because this is a hard, long trudge you're going through. You're going to kiss a lot of frogs. Some you're going to be very impressed and they're going to turn into princes. Some are just going to stay ugly old brown and green frogs. You meet somebody, a downer, that you say, hey, I'm out of here. I'm not going to spend 4 hours with you. Life's too short for that. So surround yourself with people that are upbeat, can-do, successfully oriented, and make a little bubble of them that you cheer each other on, because it'll make it so much easier. So that's really the points on how you attack this from 35,000 feet. But now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Networking, right? But I don't know anybody. I've been in Afghanistan for 2 years, or I've been, in Norfolk for years. And I've been here for 4 years. I'm going to pick San Diego. I happen to be in San Diego right now where I live. I love this city. I want to move to San Diego. Well, start analyzing San Diego. Might be I want to move to San Diego or Dallas or Denver. Could be 3 cities. The first thing that's most obvious is you want to learn about that town. Do research with their Chamber of Commerce. Look at the city's website. Learn about the industries that are there. Learn about the companies that are in that area. Look at their websites for the job openings to see if they're a reasonable match of what your skills are, what your career path goals are, and what that city offers. The silly little thing that is so important, subscribe to the newspaper. Every day, learn about Denver, Austin, or whatever our cities were, and San Diego. Right? Get the paper every day. Who's hiring? Who just won a big contract? Who's laying off? What schools are exciting? What classes are going on? Art festival. What is happening in that environment? And you may look at it and go, ooh, that's too laid back. That's too, I'm not interested in that city. But now I want to focus on Denver. That's fine. Drop it. But it's an educated drop. You didn't move there and then look for a job. That is the hardest thing. It is the old adage, it is easier to get a job when you have a job. Okay? And I'll tell you a little game that HR plays. If you've been out of work 3 or 6 months, our mind starts going to, he seemed like an okay guy, but how come nobody else has hired him? What am I missing here? Did they do better background check? Did they do better drug test? What? I think I put some doubts on my own mind. I'm going to go with the other candidate. So just think about that. That's why I love that you're looking 6 months or a year out. That is really important because you avoid that. I have a job. I'm in the Navy. I'm in the Army. I'm in the Air Force, whatever you're in. You have a job, and now you're looking for a job. And remember my little competitive about stealing a contract from a competitor and bringing it? Part of the fun is I got him first. I got her first. She came out of the military and I got it, right? I got the job offer in first. I negotiated better and I've hired Mary Lou. If you're working at another company and you're talking about a job change right now, everything applies. But I'll tell you, a little game HR plays is I stole Fred from a competitor and brought him over to my team. So I hurt the competitor and helped my team. That's why having a job helps out. So let's talk about networking. Well, I'm bashful. I don't know anybody. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know what to do. I tell the simplest, easiest little exercise that you can start a conversation with a stranger is standing in line at a grocery store, right? Now we're 6 feet apart and everybody's bored because the lines are longer. So, you know, the candy selection that's right as you get up to the register, just turn to the person in front of you, back you, or both of you, say, hey guys, if you could eat any of these candies as much as you wanted and not gain 1 ounce, which one would you pick? And they're going, oh, I'd take the Milky Way. Oh, I would take the M&Ms. I would take the sun, right? Always you got a little conversation going. And you'll think, oh my gosh, they're nice to talk to. And they're happy you took the initiative, right? So if you have trouble talking to strangers, make a point of doing it. Now, let's go into the 30-second elevator speech here right now. It's a funny name, but it really comes to you're standing on the 3rd floor of a building, the elevator doors open up, you step on, you see somebody you kind of know or know well, the doors close, goes up 2 floors, takes about 30 seconds, the doors open, and the person you know steps off. So you got 30 seconds to get their attention. Now, if you have 3 career paths, I want you to have 3 30-second elevator speeches. And let's start with a negative downer story. I used to work out at Health Club when they were open here in San Diego. And early in the morning, and we'd be at the counter shaving, and somebody I'd sort of know would come in, and I'd say, hey, how you doing? And he'd say, oh, fine, it's doing, yeah, I'm okay. And I'd say, I know he just got let go 2 weeks ago. And his pride or his naivete is not letting him talk to me about it. Or maybe it's not the right place or not the right. It is the right place. You take advantage. You're going to know if somebody's turned off and they don't want to talk about it. And we'll get into that. What he could have done is say, oh, I got laid off 2 weeks ago. I'm in the job market. And Phil, you're on my list of people to contact because I want to talk to you because of the business you're in. And I say, well, what kind of work are you looking for? Remember this theme here? What kind of work are you looking for? Now he could go, well, I don't know. I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like my company, and I didn't like my boss, and I didn't like this, and it wasn't my fault, and everything goes wrong. I'd cut myself shaving to get out of that place. Maybe the throat to get out of it, right? Debbie Downer, I don't want to be around you. Okay, let's do Act 2. Bill, how nice to see you. Boy, have I had some interesting times of, some of our companies merged and I was a CFO and the buying company, which isn't, the CFO took over and I was let go and great severance package, but still I'm in the job market, Phil, and I'd love to talk to you. What kind of work are you looking for? Well, I'm a CFO and I'm really excited. It's 30-second elevator, kick into it. I'm looking for a CFO job in the telecommunications industry, and my special interest is international. I did a lot of international travel. I love travel. Spent a lot of time in Europe, in the Middle East, and South America, introducing new products, which I find very exciting. And I'm interested in companies like Qualcomm, Nokia, and Motorola, which is now coming out with another cell phone. If you know anybody in those companies, I'd love to meet with them. And can I come talk to you? And while he's talking, he's going to his locker and getting his business card and giving it to me. Now, example 1 or example 2, when they call me, who am I going to spend a half hour of my life with? Business cards. I had somebody say, well, I don't own a business. How can I have a business card? I was like, oh my God, do I have a book for you to read? Have a business card. Have it with you at all times. I don't know, you should take it into the shower when you're shaving at the health club. Might be a little moist, but have it available in your locker at all times to hand out to people. It's how they can get in touch with you. Little trick is on the back of it, put your 3 career paths. I'm interested in sales and marketing. I'm interested in human resources, and I'm interested in marketing or something. So that go back and go, oh, what was he? Oh, yeah, here it is right on the back. And ask for my card. Okay, is it a little awkward hanging around the men's locker room till I go over and get you a business card? Maybe. But you got a lot better chance getting us together if you get my card. Okay, don't make it awkward, but hey, let me wait in the lobby. I've got some time. I'll catch you on the way out in the lobby, right? That's a little better, right, than hanging around the men's locker room. But have a business card because it shows you're professional and you can get in touch with people. And if you ask for their card, you have to give a card to them too. So always have your business card with you. Ideally, in any situation, you have your resume with you. It might be in your car. While you're waiting for me to finish up, go out in your car and get a resume and give it to me. You'll want to send it to me online too, but you want to have that. So the next thing is using social media. You have to have a LinkedIn page. Now, before you make one step toward a career, you write a resume, and LinkedIn is your resume online. The nice thing about LinkedIn, if you're working right now, it's a legal way to put your resume online, and your boss can't say, what are you doing, Phil? You looking for another job? Because his resume is on his LinkedIn account. It's the way we do it now. So I want to tell you how important LinkedIn is. No HR person is ever going to say, oh, here's the finalist that I'm interested in. They're never going to tell you, I'm going to LinkedIn to look at your picture and see the quality of your LinkedIn page. And I'm going to see if you have a Facebook page and what you have the judgment to post on that Facebook page. If there's anything you don't want an employer to see, great time down in Cabo on spring break, off. Just remove it, remove it, remove it. You get another job, you get hired. I wouldn't put it back up anyway, but you could put it back up, right? But your LinkedIn page tells me how professional you are. I do it, and my staff looks up the LinkedIn page before I'm meeting with people, so we recognize them, right? So that when they walk into the reception, they can say, hi, Phil, you're here for the 10 o'clock, right? So have a professional picture. Ladies, this is not the time to do right, with the long hair hanging down the face like you're getting ready to go to a cocktail party. This is a professional picture. This is a job picture. I want you to wow me with how professional and what good taste you have in your picture. And if for any reason, and I don't know what it would be, you don't want to put your picture up, believe me, we get very suspicious. And there's 2 things. She doesn't know how to put a picture up, ding, or she doesn't know how to ask for help to get her picture up, another ding. We all need help. We all need to be comfortable asking for help. So don't just have a picture you cut out of a wedding and there's some girl's arm around your shoulder and you're in a tux, right? It's like, whoa, how much effort did they put into that, right? No typos, okay? No gaps, because I'm going to wonder why there was a gap. Why'd you tell me about these 5 years and these 5 years and you left 2 years out? Okay, HR, drugs, alcohol, or prison. I don't think you want me to think any of those things. So fill in the gap. And stay-at-home dad to take care of 3 young children is perfectly fine. I'm probably jealous I couldn't do that. Don't leave any gaps on it. But the other thing about LinkedIn is you can ask to be LinkedIn. I probably get 10, 20 a day. And most of them, I don't respond to. I don't know anything about them. I don't know why I would network. But every while I go, this is an interesting person, and I accept, and I accept, and I accept. Okay? Because now you can network with them. Ideally, you can, if they say no, no loss, right? But you'll be surprised how many, especially when you use that veteran Trump card appropriately, they'll accept you on that alone. So use it, okay? Facebook, tastefully done. If they're Facebook people instead of LinkedIn, have a Facebook page, but tastefully done because you're in a job search, okay? Twitter and Instagram, use them, learn how to use them to your advantage. Don't be a hermit that nobody can find out about you. You know, I talked about energized people. Showing me you work out, you run, I play paddleball. There's a connection there. I'll probably interview anybody that's a paddleball player. But show me you care about your appearance, right? You care about how you look. I'm not saying everybody's a bathing beauty, believe me. But looking sloppy and drunk in Cabo, not such a good look. Next thing to volunteer work. Remember, we want to network, right? I'm in the accounting department, and I want a job in accounting because that's what I studied in college, that's what I did in the Navy, and that's what I want to do when I get out. That is a skill set that is transferable, finally, right? Join the accounting association of wherever you want to live. Their monthly programs are on Zoom. Their trainings are on Zoom, right? You can be anywhere in the world and participate. If you're in the city you want to live in, then volunteer at the Heart Association, the United Way, the Cancer Society, the Chamber of Commerce. Show that you're using your time in a valuable way and make connections. Rotary, Kiwanis. This presentation is sponsored by San Diego Downtown Rotary, right? Because 500 members care about veterans, and they're making this happen. If you're going to live in San Diego, join Rotary now. We don't say you have to have a job. A returning veteran is accepted with open arms in Rotary or Kiwanis or Lion, whatever organization you want to do. But it's an association of business people. And the last one I want to talk to you about is the Toastmasters. In an interview, we're having a conversation. We're comfortable. We're not having sweaty palms. This isn't the Inquisition where you grab the chairs like, oh my God, what are you going to ask me? As an applicant, as an interviewee, I'm at ease. I'm having a conversation. I'm happy to be here. I'm not stressed. Most people hate getting in front of a group of strangers and talking to them about anything. Like, it's almost like Pavlov's hierarchy of pain. One is death of a family person. Second is having to speak public speaking, right? I mean, it's almost humorous. I'm one of those people. Give me an audience. What do you want me to talk to them about? Bring it on. You know, I love it. I love the interaction, and we're going to get to Q&A right now. But go to Toastmasters. Learn to be comfortable. Learn to speak on your feet. Learn to get Q&A. My favorite part about Q&A that we're going to get into is it keeps me on my toes. I don't know what you're going to ask. And that helps me grow. So get comfortable doing it. I'm not saying you have to be impassioned about it and fight for situations to do it. I'm just saying be comfortable, because Toastmasters is not about making speeches in front of large groups. It's really about having a conversation with a stranger and being able to sell a product like yourself to a stranger. And that's what networking is about. And that's what I want you to take away here, is the importance of it and how to be comfortable doing it. Socially, your kids' little league games, the health club that I talked about, you never know when it's going to come into effect and be beneficial. So Stephanie, let's get into
Yes.
Q&A while we still have time.
Perfect segue, Phil. Thank you. So for those of you who are joining us, do you have specific questions for Phil that, may be very, very specific to your circumstances, to your situation? That gnawing question that you've been dying to ask. Matt, you've been on with us for all 3 webinars. What has Phil failed to share that you really are dying to know? Anything?
Matt, you better be able to teach this session next time.
Yeah. So here's my question to you, particularly now with COVID and virtual. A lot of the traditional venues, Chamber of Commerce, Veterans Beer Club, all those kind of networking, traditional events face-to-face have gone virtual and are kind of big chat rooms looking like Hollywood squares. What's a good strategy to take advantage of that? Because it's not the same side by side at the club.
Yeah.
Face-to-face conversation, quick exchange the business card.
And Matt, of all those organizations that are kind of lost face-to-face, the Veterans Beer Group is just a shame. I mean, that's tragic.
Yeah,
this is a group of, I think their membership is 1,000 or 2,000, but once a month they get together at a craft beer place and they move it around all over the county and have a good time drinking beer and talking about. I've addressed that group several times. Use Zoom. Right now, you probably have a choice of listening to the speaker or seeing the group. And there's names up here. And pay attention to who's on here that you might want to talk to. And if a lot of people don't put their face up, they put their camera off and just have their name. I'm suspicious they're not really there, by the way. But look at the names, listen to people, jot down their name to follow up, because it's very appropriate. And with research, you can find out people's email address. If nothing else, just calling their company. And just say, I was on the Zoom call with you yesterday morning on the Chamber of Commerce, and I was fascinated by what you were saying about right? Little compliment. I was listening to what your comment was. You work at a company, ABC company, that I'm very much interested in. I'd like to come continue our discussion and learn more about your career and ABC company, what they're like. The whole networking thing. But now it's in an email, or maybe you ask them to Zoom, right? It's very easy to set up Zooms one-on-one. So do it. Don't let that slow you down. We're finding on Zooms, a lot more people are on Zooms than were attending luncheons.
Exactly, Phil.
Use it.
San Diego Military Advisory Council, I think, is a perfect example of that. Matt and everybody else is on this group. That you don't have time in the half hour before their normal breakfast meetings to meet with everybody, say hello, exchange cards. But on the Zoom, you can scroll through and write down folks' names and stalk them, so to speak, on LinkedIn, find out who they're with, what organization they're with.
Okay, Stephanie, we don't use stalk.
We don't use the word stalk.
Follow up.
Follow up, learn who they are. But that way it's actually a lot more time for you to be able to put together an email introduction of yourself that you might not have been able to find them at the regular meeting. And those meetings are free now. So for any of you who are on right now, if you go to San Diego Military Advisory Council, you can see their monthly Zoom schedule and you can get on those. So that might be just one little nugget that I think is actually easier to network than it was even when we were having the breakfast.
Yeah.
And when the breakfast resumed, now you've had a relationship with these folks. You can meet them face to face and you have a conversation to have. Oh, I've been wanting to meet you in person, and you'll be able to do that. So that's a great feedback, Phil. Thank you.
And there are lots of great veterans organizations in whatever city you want to move to or are in. I mean, 0800 is fabulous. SDMAC is where all the defense industry people come to rub elbows with all the generals and admirals and all that sort of stuff. It's a great group if you want to stay in the defense industry. But look wherever you are and don't hesitate to go to veterans groups that can help you. They want to help you. In San Diego, there's 100 of them. Probably 20 of them, Steffi and I would highly recommend. 0800 is, can help you nationwide. But don't hesitate to reach out to those. USO does a wonderful job here with career transition. So use veterans organizations where you are and where you want to live.
Ed, I think you might have had a question also, maybe a follow-up or a different direction.
Well, certainly it is relative to the Zoom culture that we're in now. The transferable skills from these sessions going to the what the new normal is going to be. It seems like there's a lot more work that needs to be done, being that connecting with people on Zoom and then in anticipation of physical meetings. Is there a bridge between that gap of the Zoom culture and what we hope to be the new normal, where we're actually able to go back out into the world and press the flesh and meet people face to face, because those personal interactions are just as valuable?
Yeah, I think Ed brings up a really good point about that. You understanding what your skills are in the military and the job you want to do in the private sector. And it's your job to blend those and to be able to sell those. On one of the earlier Zoom presentations, I talked about every skill set that a veteran seems to come to me with that they all want to talk about is leadership, teamwork, and logistics. Like, differentiate yourself, right? Every resume says leadership, da, 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 da. Well, I don't know how that applies to my company, right? We don't move a lot of logistics around. And leadership is such a 35,000 foot, and teamwork. I mean, whoever says, and I hate terrible at teamwork. I hate teamwork, right? I mean, so take what skill sets you have, and it's your job to amalgamate them, right? You've got to sell me. Here's the skill sets, Phil, that you need in this job that you're hiring for. Here's the skills I've developed between getting my MBA and my degree before and what I've done for 12 years in the Navy, and sell me how those interact. If you leave it to me, it says, gosh, he seems like a really sharp guy, but we don't hire a lot of submarine captains here in this company. And this happened to me, right? Many years ago, a captain of a submarine came in and said, well, I'm having trouble finding a job in the private sector because, and I'm outing myself, I'll never do this again, but I said, well, doesn't Disneyland have a ride where the submarine goes down and then underwater and then comes back, goes underwater like 5 feet and goes back up? They have a cap, it's like, okay, that joke is never coming out of me again in front of a captain. But we peel this back, and he ran a $250 million business every year. That was what his budget was to keep this submarine afloat. He had a staff of 200 people that reported through him. He had missions he needed to accomplish. He had negotiations he had to do. I mean, we made him the CEO of a company with all the talents that it takes to be a CEO. Budgeting, strategic planning, training, leadership, right? We made him CEO of a company. Now, the company happened to be really long and really thin, and it went underwater for months at a time. But it came out, when he's talking to me, he was CEO of a large business and managed it beautifully. And those are the project management skills that we can talk about that relate to the job that I have. Next.
Do we have other questions from the group? That it's not often that you get Phil Blair all to yourself for that burning question that has been challenging you. Jeremy, did you have something? We now know there's a man behind the name.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry, I was cooking, so I didn't want to show you. I had a question, Phil. Thanks for everything you shared so far. With the trend of companies hiring possibly more remotely positioned jobs, maybe not just in the city they're located in or based in, but around the country, does networking change at all? I know you mentioned the Zoom meetings, but in terms of like, I'm in San Diego, say there's a company in New Orleans that's looking for anyone around the country. How would I find them? Would they find me? Both of us are finding each other through our network. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, Jeremy, you know, when I do talks about how is the job world changing because of COVID when we eventually get out of this thing, working remotely is number one. And it's number one because it's working really well for a lot of employees, and it's working really well for employers. So what a match here, right? I love working remote. Well, I love having you work remote. Do you know how much money companies are going to save on real estate, especially in expensive cities like San Francisco and Palo Alto and LA, by instead of having 400,000 square feet, they have 100,000. Now, there are people that are going to, I would not do well working remotely. I come into my office here at Manpower every day. There's used to be 18 of us here in admin. There's 6 or 7 of us, but they float in and out. It's a different 6 or 7 usually. But I'm not a remote worker, right? I get my energy off of other people and talking to them and seeing them. But now what I'm doing, if I'm a company, is I'm hiring a skill set to do a job. And what we're finding with working remotely is that I don't need you to be down the hall from me, or I don't need 200 of you to be down the hall from me that I rarely talk to anyway. So you could be in Fort Worth, you could be in Denver, you could be in Pittsburgh, you could be somewhere else, and we're going to use Zoom to bring us together when we need to be, with staff meetings, with annual meetings, with customer presentations. So now you're not, geez, I'd really like to work for this company, but I don't want to live in Phoenix, right? You can sell them, if this is a forward-thinking company, that say, I want to stay in San Diego, but boy, do I have this skill set, and let me tell you why I'm a perfect match for this job. And I'll even tell you why you don't need me down the hall from you. You do that sales job, and that just opens the door to almost any job in the world. I mean, you can talk to companies in Europe now about staying in San Diego and working for them. But understand your skill set, understand what makes you different, what you bring to the table that nobody else does or very few do, and be able to convince them you're the right person for the job and here where you choose to live. San Diego is a very expensive town, so you may move somewhere on your own and not miss a beat. You stopped work on Friday in San Diego, and Monday morning you started work and you happen to be in Denver. And as the employer, I don't care. Now, it's a very interesting thing that companies are doing, and it makes absolute sense, is they're saying, you don't ever have to come back. Twitter has said everybody can work remote that wants to work remote the rest of their lives. But I'm telling you, I was paying you $150,000 because I made you live in San Francisco, which is very, very expensive city to live in now. And you're in Montana, which is the cheapest place ever to live. I'm not going to keep paying you $150,000. Okay. We're going to take salaries and go, where are you living? And sort of level the playing field with cost of living. And just understand that, right? You're not going to get to live in Montana and earn $150,000. But that's okay. It's a quality of life issue. And if you want to earn the 150 and you want to live in San Francisco, do it. If you want to live in Montana, understand that that salary may go to 100,000. Well, 100,000 in Montana goes a long ways, let me tell you. So your quality of life may go up a lot with a pay cut. And that's okay, if it's okay with you.
I think Phil makes a good point too, Jeremy, that companies that never in a million years would have considered remote employees are now seeing, because they had to, that will work. And what companies are realizing as well is the cost of having an employee under their roof is incredibly expensive. So an offset to that possibly is also the cost savings you might be giving them by the fact that they're not having to give you office space, a computer, a phone, that you're willing to take on those expenses working remotely, and they then can reduce their commercial real estate footprint, which allows them, long-term. So those are all kind of other leveraging points, that you might be able to infuse into the conversation, especially if it's not as dramatic of a shift as San Francisco to Montana, but where you might be able to show them that allowing you to work remotely benefits them in financial ways, not just in the fact that you have the best skill sets in the country. So that was a great question.
Stephanie, we're running out of time. Is there one or two quick ones here?
Do we have anyone else who was hoping to get in a question that was maybe very specific to their circumstances, having Phil at their disposal?
You've got the book, so you got me at your disposal, right? There's
True.
nothing different I say that's not in Job 1 for America's Veterans. So thank you for letting me spend some time with you. It's always interesting for me to do this, and I always learn something new. And Jeremy, to your point, we're now seeing architects and residential builders that are now designing houses and redesigning houses to put one or two offices in a house. What used to be the fourth or fifth bedroom, they're now selling it as here's an office space for two people, right? So that you're not at the dining room table trying to work with two kids running around. So 0800, thank you for the honor of inviting me to do this. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found Job 1 for America's Veterans a wonderful resource, and I wish all of you the best of luck in your job search. And my motto is I want everybody to wake up in the morning excited to go to work. If I've helped you accomplish that, then that's a win for all of us. So that is success in my book. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. And maybe we'll get together again soon. Best of luck in your job search.
Thank you so much, Phil. This has been fantastic. The entire series has really been a blessing. And if you were not able to join us for one of the other webinars, please reach out and we can make sure to make that available to you. We have uploaded those onto a cloud for you to be able to watch. So take care, and hopefully we'll see you all soon.
Thank you so much.